Alright guys, this video is going to teach you exactly how to fade with the basics. It is sped up at 1.5 speed in some parts, just so you guys don't get bored. I know I have a short attention span, so I'm assuming a lot of other people do. This part is the very basic. It's the whiteness of the haircut, okay? If you think about a haircut or a fade in three different shades, which is white at the very bottom, black at the very top, and gray in the very middle, you're gonna find yourself understanding fading a lot more. So the white part and the black part is the part that you should always start with, okay? So right here we're just starting with the whiteness, which is the baldness, the zero. You can do this either with your trimmer or with your clipper and the lever closed, but the important part is that you check right here. I'm checking to make sure that they're both symmetrical. I'm not scared to stand in front of my client. Matter of fact, sometimes it lets your client know, like, hey, this guy is actually trying to make sure it's even, make sure it's symmetrical. They appreciate it more often than they feel weird by you standing right in front of them. They shouldn't feel weird. So we got the whiteness out of the way, and as you can see, the back is pretty symmetrical as well. Now we're going to take care of our darkness, which is the very top of his hair. This is a 2-guard with the lever all the way open, and that's going to be as dark as it gets. Now obviously you can still see his scalp a little bit on top. I'm going to teach you guys at the end how to make that darker so the fade contrasts even more. This part I'm just gonna go on until it's literally just me running the 2.5 all in all directions. You see how he has a swirl in the back, his head's going to the side, to the top. I'm making sure all directions, all hairs are being cut. So I'm just going over and over again. I'm gonna take this time to tell you guys that I am sponsored by TPOB, and if you guys want to get these exact same clippers for less than $100, you can use the link in the bio. I'm also gonna put the link at the top right of your corner. Use code JOSCUTS, which is JOSCUTS, and you should get it for $95 included, already shipped, like no shipping, no taxes, like $95 out the door. If you get to watch this during Black Friday, you should be able to get them for 50% off. If you're not watching it during Black Friday and Cyber Monday, then you missed out on the 50% off that he's running. Right now I'm just explaining how the very bottom of the blend is actually darker than the top, which is the exact opposite of what we want. This is what you don't want to do, okay? You see how that's white and this is black? Two different shades. I hope you guys can understand the two different shades. We have to make sure that we make the bottom a lighter shade than the top. So that's going to be our main goal right now, okay? So I'm going to take the clipper off and I'm going to go with the lever all the way open to lighten it up. You see how light that is already? And we're going to preserve his C cups, so we're going to do it towards the middle of his C cup, or whatever you want to call that area. This is with the lever all the way open, and I'm going to go all around. And you see how I'm not taking too much time doing this? I'm just following that same line that we already made. That bottom line is your guide. And in the back, I always try to keep it 3 fingers underneath the occipital bone so I can give myself enough room to blend. As you can see, it's 3 fingers all around from the zero line all the way up to the ridge area. The ridge area is where we start connecting the sides to the top. So a lot of barbers make this mistake of bringing this zero line way too high up. And if you do that, you're actually giving yourself less room to fade, which means your fade is going to be more compressed, and compressed haircut is actually a lot harder than a stretched out fade, which is what we're doing here. So once you get the hang of stretched out fades, then you should move towards a more compressed style of fading. But if you don't really understand how to do stretched out fades, then you shouldn't really be doing compressed fading if you're a beginner, if you're struggling with fading. Right here I'm just explaining the importance of flicking out, and it's a little bit of freehand, but not really. I'm not trying to make the best blend ever. I'm just explaining to you guys that the left side is soft line and the right side is a hard line. You see that hard line right there? Yeah, on the other side, you're not going to see that because I lifted my clipper up as I was making that guideline. Don't get confused. It's okay. We're going to go back to the haircut. Right now, I'm explaining that there's 2 different ways of fading. You can open your lever. You can close your lever at the 0 and then open up higher, higher, higher as you get to the half line. Or you can close it down. There's really not much of a difference. Whatever it is that you feel comfortable with fading, that's what you should do. Like right here, I'm opening my lever, then closing it as I get to the bottom part. On the left side, that's what I did. On the right side, I closed my lever and went higher as I went up his head to blend out that line. It might sound a little confusing. I'll try to simplify with some graphics in the video, but it's very, very simple. Okay, the point is, however it is that you like taking that as zero line, that's how you should do it. There's no wrong answer. Now our 1.5 is going to blend into the top, and this 1.5 guard is going to be at the ridge area. That ridge area, we're not going to go any higher than that. All right, that's the highest that we're going to go. So we're going to make sure we keep this type of angle on his head. You see how I'm not that's digging in. You don't want to do that. You do not want to do this right here. That's bad, right? The more you dig in, the more lines you're going to make. What you want to do is this motion where you just stop right at the ridge area and you kind of glide your clipper away from his head right at that ridge area, and you see how that blends it really well. We're not creating a guideline anymore. And after the 1.5 guard, we're not going to use any other guard besides the 0.5, and that's it. Right now, I don't need to pass it any more times. It's pretty much even. I just want to make sure that it's super even so that when I come with my 0.5 guard, it's done. And the fade is practically done here. It really is. We only need one more guard, which is my 0.5 guard that I have right now with the lever open. And I'm going to glide it over his head. A lot of barbers don't understand soft or light pressure on the head. You want to make sure that your clipper is gliding over his head. That's all you want to do. You don't want to go too hard, right? Pause. What? Anyway, with the lever all the way open, we're just trying to make sure we soften this line up. You see how it's not really fully going away? It's not being taken away, and that's fine, because that's what that's why the lever exists. If the clipper's not cutting, then you close it down and you go over and you keep the same amount of pressure. Some people want to put a lot of pressure on the client's head because the hair's not cutting. Well, guess what? Just close the lever down little by little, and you see that's exactly what I'm doing right here, and you can see the line going away. Now you can see the back of the head is a little harder to fade, and I'm sure a lot of people have a harder time fading in the back. And that's exactly why I like to give myself 3 fingers underneath the occipital bone. It gives you more space to fade. If you're really close to the bone, or if you're at the bone with your zero line, it's a lot harder to blend that back area. So give yourself 3 fingers underneath the occipital bone. Don't be scared. It doesn't really matter what fade they ask for. You can always, most of the time, drop it and blend it to the occipital bone, and it'll make the fade look good. Right here, I'm just asking a couple questions. I'm just going to point out that you can see, obviously, that guideline right there and that dark area. You see how I still have 2 fingers under the occipital bone. You just saw me put my 2 fingers there. There you go. See me again. And that just gives me more room to blend. That's it. That's all I do that for. And I don't actually put my fingers on my clients when I cut, but you can. Don't be scared to do it. Sometimes when you do weird stuff like that, you know what? I don't want to call it weird. Sometimes when you do extra stuff like that, it just kind of shows your client that you know what you're doing. You're taking the necessary precautions to make sure that you give them a good fade, and they'll like it more often than not. Right now, I'm just opening and closing my lever. I'm make sure, and you'll see that that line starts to blend little and little and little, or little by little. And that's all a haircut really is. It's just you understanding shades. And now I understand, like I said, that the middle area should be lighter than the top area, and that's what makes the blend good. So all I'm doing is lightening up that area. That's all I'm doing. I'm not touching the top at all, because the top is the darkest part. And once you understand that the 1.5 guard is dark gray, the 0.5 is light gray, the 0 is white, and whatever you have on top is black. Once you start seeing hair or fading as shades, you'll understand, okay, I have to go from white to light gray to medium gray to dark gray, and dark gray to black. And that's what makes a good fade. That's it. And as we're going to the very end of the haircut, we're going to do the other side. So we still got another 10 minutes in the video. I hope you guys are learning a lot. If you guys have any questions, please make sure to leave them down in the comments. If you're interested in doing any classes or working one-on-one, please DM me on JOSCUTS on my Instagram. If you're interested in doing classes for your barbershop, also please DM me on Instagram. If you hear some scratches right now, that's actually my dog just playing on the couch, which she shouldn't be playing on the couch. But anyway. Right now, I am just detailing, and the important, you'll see that I take a lot of time detailing, which is completely fine because the other steps I do them quick enough that I can spend as much time as I want detailing. That's the important part of blending down. When you blend down, you don't really have to worry about making lines or erasing lines. You just kind of blend down, and at the very end, you can take as much time as you want to detail, because the detailing part is actually what's going to make your haircut blend or be smooth, not everything else. This detailing part right here, the 0.5, is what's gonna make your blend pop out. And you're gonna see me put enhancements at the top of his head. And in this class, I'm explaining how most barbers, in order to give like a picture perfect haircut and post on Instagram and attract more clients, which at the end of the day, every barber's goal is to get more clients in the chair. So if you gotta enhance the haircut a little bit, it's 100% fine. Don't let anyone tell you that you shouldn't. Obviously, you always ask for your client's permission. Some people might not like enhancements or be sensitive to the enhancements, to the dyes or whatever it is. So in a very, very little bit, you're gonna see me. I'm just detailing right here, guys. There's really not much going on. I'm looking at dark spots, and if they're dark, then I'm lightening them up, and that's all I'm doing. That, like I said, I'm gonna go over it one more time. The top is the darkest. As we get to the bottom, it's gonna get lighter and lighter. So if it doesn't look like it's the right shade, I'm just cutting it to the right shade. I hope we're all in agreement in that. Going back to the enhancements part, this is what's going to make the haircut really, really pop out. And the haircut's amazing already. I know most people are probably like, nah, don't enhance the haircut. It already looks good. Why are you going to mess it up by painting on him? And I'm not really messing anything up. I'm just enhancing it. Okay. And at the end of the day, barbers want to learn from barbers who have really amazing haircuts, and I'm not shy or scared to tell you guys that the way to get really amazing haircuts is to add enhancements most of the time. And so in this class, I taught that if you want to do that, you shouldn't be afraid to use enhancements. Now, I don't really use enhancements that much. Most of my haircuts are actually not enhanced, but the owner of this barbershop wanted me to teach his barbers how to cut hair faster and how to make their haircuts look better. And in this side, I'm explaining, you see how like it's mostly blended. This side on the left side, we did with a little bit of freehand. All we got to do is blend that soft line out. And that line is soft, even though you can still see it. It's not hard, right? And the softer the line is, the easier it's going to be to blend. So if you're making lines, try to make soft lines and not hard lines, because hard lines make your life harder. Right here, you can see in my hand, I have the enhancements, and I'm basically explaining what I just told you guys right now, that the top of the head needs to be the darkest shade. So you're going to see the difference right now when I spray him with this black enhancement. It's actually going to make the fade pop out a lot more, because the top of his head is going to be a lot darker. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you guys, that if you understand shading, you're going to see, wow, that haircut does look a lot better now, all because the top is darker than what it was before. Nothing in the fade changed, just darkness on top, and that's what makes the fade pop out. So now we're going to do the other side, and this side actually we're going to speed through it. I think I put a 5x on this one, or 6x, and the reason being is that you can see it a lot clearer. What I'm about to teach you guys, you're gonna see a lot clearer if I speed it up. But basically, I'm not worried. All I'm worried about is lightening up the middle area, because as you can see right now, this is lighter than this. This area should not be this dark, and you can see it goes light, dark, light, and it shouldn't be like that. So I'm not going to worry about this area, which is the top, and I'm not going to worry about this area, which is the bottom. Okay, all I'm going to worry about is that middle area, and this area is exactly where the fade happens, nowhere else. This area is the hardest and the one that you should understand the most. So you're going to see me put all my time and attention into this area only. And I'm going to go with my 1.5 guard, with my 1 guard, with my 0.5 guard. And all I'm doing is lightening it. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Lightening it up. That's all I'm doing. I am not touching the top. I am not touching the bottom. I'm just making sure that as I get higher in his head, it stays dark. Okay? Which means I don't really want to cut that much hair. I hope I'm not confusing you guys. I think I'm confusing myself a little bit, and I'm trying to simplify it as much as possible. But just think of it like a rainbow, and the higher you get in the head, the darker you want to be. So you don't really want to touch the top of the hair too much. You want to blend up to it, right? And right here, I'm being very careful of using my corners just to make sure everything blends in properly. and I'm going over the same spots if needed just to make sure everything blends properly. I'm going back with my 0.5 because I feel like it's not really fully blended yet. I'm using a lot of my corners, and as you can see, I just touched the middle part and the blend is so much smoother now just by doing the middle. The middle is what a lot of people struggle with. They struggle with the gray area because the gray area, like I said, is exactly where everything happens. Right now I'm using my shaver and I'm making sure that I apply light pressure to it, and I'm gonna go back and use my shaver again. I think people are just asking me questions here, and obviously I'm trying my best to answer all questions. I think this haircut altogether took me, I think, 25 minutes. If I wasn't teaching or talking, I think it would have taken me maybe like 15 minutes or 10 minutes because it's a pretty simple haircut. And it's all because I follow the same steps that I teach in all my videos, which is a 0, 3 on top, or in this case a 2.5 on top, a 1.5, and then a 0.5, and that's it. And then the detailing, I leave it for last, which is what you see me doing here. I'm just trying to, any dark spots that I see, any dark lines that I see, all I'm doing is I'm trying to lighten them up. I'm trying to make sure that the shade is proper and that it goes from white to light gray, medium gray, dark gray, and that's it. Yeah, we're pretty much done with the video. If you guys have any questions on the haircut, make sure to leave them down in the comment section below. This is pretty much the whole haircut, and obviously I'm gonna blend the side of his beard. And if he was a client, I would do it for free. I would just ask him like, do you want me to do the beard? No. Okay, cool. Do you want me to blend it? Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. And we're gonna get rid of that tiny last line right there. I'm speeding it up because obviously you can't see it. I wanted to make sure the people on that side were able to see something. And this is pretty much the whole haircut. As you can see, it goes from white to light gray to medium gray to dark gray, and then to the darkest. It's not completely black, but just for the sake of simplifying it, we're gonna call it black. And that's what makes a great haircut. It's just shades. That's it. And each guard represents a shade. And once you understand these shades and you can see these shades, you're gonna be a lot better at cutting hair. As always, I try to simplify it as best as I can. If you feel like I could simplify it better or explain it better or teach it better, please leave it down in the comments. Just like you guys, I am willing to learn. If you're taking the time out of your day to learn from this video, I will take time out of my day to learn how to teach better. And I appreciate you guys watching. I'm gonna leave a link to the combs that I use, everything that I use. I just started my own brand and I'm trying to sell some equipment. Right now I have a black cape, and I explained the importance of a black cape because if you're trying to make content using a blade like or a cape that's green, orange, red, all those colors, yeah, you might think it's cool, but it actually hurts the content that you make because people are gonna be it's just a black cape is better for content, so I called it the content cape. I'm gonna leave a link to it in the description. The combs that I use, I made for clipper over comb, for detailing, for taper over comb. Did I just say taper over comb? For scissors over comb, thin scissors over comb, all of that, all that good stuff. I appreciate you guys watching. I feel like I'm just rambling on right now, but I'm just gonna show them the mirror, and the class is pretty much done. If you're, like I said, if you're interested in any classes in the LA area, I'm trying to do maybe like 1 or 2 more for really cheap, just to get started. And if you guys have any questions, like I said, leave them down in the comments, and I'm just gonna put some music and enjoy me showing him the mirror. And the video is ending in 30 seconds, and that's it. Thank you guys for watching.